federal government remains shut down tonight after Congress failed once again today to pass another funding bill. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. That deadlock on Capitol Hill shows no signs of easing tonight, and the effects of this closure are being felt across the federal government and across the country. And now many government workers could lose their jobs potentially by the end of this week. Democrats and Republicans pointing the finger at each other over who's to blame.
Look, it's obviously a Democratic shutdown. Just look at the vote totals in the House, look at the vote totals in the Senate, and look at the President of the United States.
All along, Republicans wanted to shut the government down. That's no surprise.
That shutdown will affect a number of services like operations at national parks, and many employees will be going without pay, although they're still expected to show up to work, and that includes TSA agents. Fox 11's Mario Ramirez has more on that part of the story tonight from LAX.
We've been hearing from travelers out here at LAX, hopeful that a deal will be reached sooner than later. We can tell you we know this shutdown could lead to the furlough and firing of federal workers, although some have been deemed essential and required to stay on the job without pay. So take a look. The workers include active duty U.S. military service members, law enforcement agents, Border Patrol and Immigration Enforcement agents, air traffic controllers, and TSA officers. The Federal Aviation Administration and TSA define most of their employees as essential. So that means airport screeners, ATC, federal air marshals, safety inspectors, and other workers with the two agencies are expected to continue showing up without pay, risking increased absences and potential flight delays. And if the shutdown drags on and those government employees are without a check, that pressure could push some to call out or even walk away.
As a country, we just need to get along and get back to work.
Although the shutdown is just getting started this morning, travelers were prepared for the potential impacts.
We showed up a little bit earlier than we normally would, about 30 minutes, but it is 6 in the morning. Our flight's at 6 in the morning, so we didn't think it'd be too much of a concern this morning.
We need to spend money on our citizens and not provide health care for people that are here illegally.
When Congress, convenes, that they really need to think about the families.
Thousands of federal workers here at LAX are now working without pay, and we should mention during the shutdown in December of 2018 that lasted 34 days, an estimated 10% of TSA workers stopped showing up for work. That led to long security lines and delayed flights. At LAX, I'm Mario Ramirez, Fox 11 News.
Famed British anthropologist Jane Goodall died earlier today during a visit to California. Her death was announced at an event in Pasadena where she was scheduled to speak. Goodall was known for her groundbreaking research, which led to a better understanding of chimpanzees and the emotional and social complexity of animals in general. According to a statement from her institute on Instagram, Goodall died of natural causes.
Dr. Goodall's discoveries as an ecologist revolutionized science, and she was a tireless advocate for the protection and restoration of our natural world.
Jane Goodall was 91 years old. California is among several western states now suing the Trump administration over what it calls illegal conditions on public safety and victim services funding. Attorney General Rob Bonta announced the lawsuit today as part of a multi-state coalition. The suit challenges the U.S. Department of Justice's new condition prohibiting recipients of various grants from using funding to provide legal services to undocumented immigrants. AG Bonta says the conditions threaten $94 million in funding to California.
President Trump is moving to strip funding from organizations that support survivors of crime. We continue to make it clear we'll hold the Trump administration to account for actions that are unlawful and unjust.
A total of 21 states are involved in this lawsuit, including Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, and Washington. The White House has not yet commented on this suit. California taxpayers will pick up the cost of fixing inaccurate voter guides that have been sent out ahead of November's redistricting election. The Secretary of State's office says a map of the proposed districts was incorrectly labeled. The agency says it will mail new postcards to voters statewide, noting the correction at a cost of millions of dollars. Critics say this is proof the redistricting plan was rushed. The special election is set to happen on November 4th. An Arizona state lawmaker is making national headlines tonight for some controversial comments he made about a U.S. senator from Washington. Republican state legislator John Gillette said Democratic U.S. Senator Pramila Jayapal should be executed for what he called treason. Initially, Gillette said Jayapal should be hanged. He later said she should be put in front of a firing squad. Gillette says his words were taken out of context and said there should be, quote, trial and conviction, due process before any punishment. A mother and son in Phoenix say they attacked their neighbors because the neighbors were practicing witchcraft. That attack happened on Monday. Gabriela Martinez and Alberto Ayala are facing charges of armed robbery. Court documents claim the mother and son attacked their neighbors with a metal pipe, leaving both of them with gashes on their heads and necks before stealing their cell phones. The suspects were also allegedly upset about the neighbors' use of voodoo.
Witchcraft, like satanic stuff. He's over there poking the dollies. As soon as he sees me in the camera, you can start feeling poking in your body.
There's no word yet on a plea by Martinez or Ayala. Both of them remain in jail tonight. Some drivers in Southern California were stunned as they watched a small plane land on a freeway. This unfolded Monday along Interstate 5 in San Diego. Fire officials say the pilot of that single-engine plane managed to put it down right along the center divide. Nobody was hurt here, and there was very little damage. The emergency landing did cause some traffic delays, as you can imagine, in this area, and crews worked to tow that plane off the freeway. Washington-based Boeing is working on a new plane to replace the 737 MAX. The Wall Street Journal reports Boeing's CEO met with officials from Rolls-Royce, the engine supplier, to discuss a new narrow-body airplane. The company hasn't publicly discussed the plans and has said its priority is fixing Boeing's problems with quality and manufacturing. Arizona real estate agents say there has been a surge in delistings among many sellers, as many of them say their properties are taking too long to sell. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen has more tonight on what's driving this trend.
It takes a lot to sell your house. You got to clean it, get it ready for the photos, be ready for a buyer to want to tour it on a second's notice. So with all that stress involved, why are so many sellers delisting their homes?
Earlier this year, Rick tried to sell his rental home in Phoenix.
We're not getting a lot of nibbles. We had, if I'm not mistaken, 3 months we had 0 offers.
His home wasn't staged like this listing in Phoenix, and with no other offers, he pulled back.
We thought the market was a lot stronger than it was.
Rick isn't alone in delisting. In fact, there's been a spike this year in sellers canceling listings. According to industry analysts at Cromford, over the last 2 months, more than 4,700 sellers in the valley canceled their listings. That's 1,200 more than this time last year.
35% or so of our listings end up canceling or expiring. So we have about a 64 to 65% what we call listing success rate. Success meaning you list it and you actually end up selling it.
Real estate expert Trevor Halpern says in some ways it's a return to normal after the housing market went through the roof in years after COVID.
We're getting closer to long-term norms, but we're still above normal.
He believes many sellers are seeking a number they just can't get right now, and some may not need to sell but just want to sell. Either way, hope may come if interest rates are lowered.
Those people aren't going away, they're just waiting.
Rick relisted his home with big changes, a new agent, new pictures, and this time he staged it like this one, and it sold that weekend.
We still got enough to walk away with a profit, and it was worthwhile to still sell.
Now, Trevor said all those things are key, but he also said when you're picking your real estate agent, there's 2 things to ask them. What's their marketing plan, and how are they going to report back to you that they're hitting all their benchmarks? Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, the White House issues a warning about this year's Super Bowl in Northern California, why they say ICE agents will be at the game, and the harsh criticism from the Trump administration for the NFL over its choice of halftime entertainment. Also coming up tonight, the multi-state lawsuit against the Trump administration over federal funds for emergency preparedness.
And in weather, as you can see our live camera looking out toward the San Francisco Bay Area, dealing with some cloud cover right now and even some scattered rain showers. We will update the forecast coming up after the break.
The White House said today it plans to send immigration enforcement agents to the Super Bowl coming up in Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium in February. And they criticized the NFL's choice for the halftime show, Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny. Homeland Security Advisor Corey Lewandowski said, quote, "It's so shameful they've decided to pick somebody who seems to hate America so much to represent them at the halftime show. If there are illegal aliens, I don't care if it's a concert for Johnny Smith or Bad Bunny or anybody else. We're going to do enforcement everywhere. We are going to make Americans safe. That is a directive from the president. If you're in this country illegally, go home." Now, Bad Bunny recently said that fear about ICE raids was part of the reason why he skipped concert stops in the U.S. during his world tour. Arizona, Washington, and California are at the center of a lawsuit against the Trump administration that alleges it is withholding hundreds of millions of dollars earmarked for disaster preparedness. KTVU's Jesse Gary has more tonight from San Jose.
5 months shy of Super Bowl 60 and many elected leaders furious federal funding for emergency preparedness to protect attendees and the overall community might not be available.
The Trump administration does not seem to care if Americans are put in harm's way.
Wednesday in San Jose, local government attorneys from the South and East Bays and San Francisco joining more than 24 municipalities in filing suit against the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA.
Local governments shouldn't have to pass a political litmus test to be able to care for their communities.
Plaintiffs claim through President Trump's direction, $350 million federal dollars for emergency preparedness is being withheld from 29 municipalities in California, Washington, and Arizona. $3.6 million of that is earmarked for Santa Clara County to provide security for events such as the Super Bowl and World Cup games next year. As a result of politics, officials say the county is looking at a 43% reduction in funds for its Office of Emergency Management. The trickle-down effect means more money siphoned from the general fund to fill the gap, and less money for wildfire prevention or earthquake readiness and response.
Without these funds, we will be forced to divert scarce resources from other essential resources, delay projects, or cancel them entirely.
The Trump administration is weaponizing taxpayer dollars for political retribution.
So far this year, the state of California has sued President Donald Trump and his administration at least 41 times. This suit seeks the reinstatement of $350 million, affecting roughly 30 million people in the 3 states. Experts say while the law might be on the plaintiff's side, it's unclear what the courts will do.
If Congress appropriates money that is earmarked for a particular use, the president is required to spend the money on what it's earmarked for.
Professor David Sloss is a constitutional law expert at Santa Clara University.
Trump has really been pushing the boundaries on this, right? And so far, the court has let him get away with it.
With the clock ticking toward kickoff of major global events, officials hope to speed the slow working wheels of justice so they can keep their constituents safe during the big shows.
We shouldn't have to choose between safety and justice.
In the South Bay Bureau, Jesse Gary, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Fire officials in Washington say a lightning-sparked wildfire has now grown to more than 35,000 acres. What's being called the Labor Mountain Fire east of Seattle started on Saturday, and it grew quickly. The fire prompted evacuations and forced the closure of a number of roads in the Kashmir area. The fire is now about 7% contained tonight. So far, no reports of any damage or injuries. California Governor Gavin Newsom is ramping up the state's fight against climate-driven disasters. He signed an executive order to stabilize the insurance market, protect wildfire survivors, and lower costs for ratepayers. The plan calls for state agencies to develop long-term solutions for managing natural disaster recovery and insurance challenges. This builds on earlier efforts, including wildfire fund reforms and clean energy advancements. On the Big Island of Hawaii, the Kilauea volcano erupted again this morning, spewing lava more than 300 feet into the air. This video was taken early this morning. The National Park Service and the U.S. Geological Survey are monitoring the activity here. Kilauea is the world's most active volcano and is the central feature at the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. It's been active on and off ever since last year. We've seen it a lot. We've seen a lot of those eruptions, Mark, but always an impressive sight.
Always amazing, Alex. Yeah, I need to see those visuals for today. In fact, we'll start off in Hawaii showing you this. The clouds kind of moving across the island chain here, and a few showers showing up on the radar scattered around on this map here. So that's the latest over toward Hawaii. We'll move the maps around here out toward the west coast for California. As you can see up in the Pacific Northwest, we are tracking some cloud cover and some rain showers. Now, a little bit of action in the San Francisco Bay Area, as you can pick out on the radar. And then there we go, some showers closer to Portland, closer to Seattle for this evening. In fact, this was the scene today in the Seattle area, showing you some cloud cover out there. Some breaks in the cloud cover, at least in this particular camera shot. 67 degrees earlier today. In the Bay Area, lots of clouds over the city. San Francisco topped out in the lower 70s at 71. And then out toward the Phoenix area, showing you a temperature of 97 degrees this afternoon. As we do check out current temperatures right now, it's 93 in Phoenix, Las Vegas 85 degrees, San Francisco upper 60s, and then up towards Seattle 58 degrees, in Portland in the lower 60s. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. Clear skies out toward Denver, some more sunshine for Phoenix, a sun-cloud mix for Southern California. Well, a lot of cloud cover for the Bay Area with maybe still some shower chances, especially for the morning hours, and still some cloud cover and the possibility of some showers up in the Pacific Northwest for your Thursday. Here's a Fox weather model. It does pick up on the shower chances, as you can pick out for Central California moving out to the east, and a lot of clouds from Medford, Oregon up into Seattle for tomorrow afternoon for your Thursday. So here is the game plan over the next few days. As you can see here, lots of clouds in Seattle, temperatures tomorrow in the upper 60s. Looks like a sun cloud mix for Friday and Saturday. We'll still have to keep an eye on those shower chances. For the Bay Area, the highest chance of shower activity will be for tomorrow morning, but still a lot of clouds in place and lots of sunshine for Friday and into Saturday. Southern California temperatures, we are expecting some more 70s, 80s out toward Denver. It seems like every day we're talking about some shower and thunderstorm chances out toward the Denver area, but finally some sunshine and a quiet weather pattern at least for your Thursday. And then triple digits do make a comeback for Phoenix Thursday and into Friday. Then we're going to cool things off, as you can see, by Saturday, some lower 90s in the forecast. So still some triple digits out toward portions of Arizona, and still some cloud cover with some rain chances. Starting to see that storm track get its act together. It's finally October right now. We should see some weather changes over the coming weeks. Alex.
All right, a brown bear has been crowned as this year's winner of Fat Bear Week in Alaska's Katmai National Park. This is 32 Chunk. The last 3 years, Chunk finished in second place, and this is the first year he's taken home gold. Chunk was pitted against 11 other bears in a bracket-style single elimination tournament in which fans voted to decide who wins.
Despite his broken jaw, he remains one of the biggest and fattest bears at Brooks River, and he used his determination and adaptability to persevere through that injury.
That he did. Contest organizers estimate Chunk weighs about 1,200 pounds. This year's competition received more than 1.5 million votes. A pair of mountain lion cubs have been released back into the wild in Southern California. They were found alone and malnourished back in March in Northern California, then trapped by a team at the University of California at Davis. They were then transferred to the San Diego Humane Society's Ramona Wildlife Center. During their 5-month rehab, staff followed a strict protocol designed to limit human contact and encourage natural behavior. The cubs were taught survival skills, including hunting and avoiding humans, to get ready for their reintroduction. A popular librarian from the Bay Area is finding new ways to share his love of reading with others. Michael Threets, a former Solano County librarian, became widely known on social media for sharing motivational videos about his passion for reading. He has amassed nearly 2 million followers across a number of different platforms, and now he's been tapped to host a reboot of the beloved PBS children's program Reading Rainbow. That reboot is expected to bring in new guests, new ideas, and new books. Its first episode debuts online this Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning. Congrats to him, that's huge. Tonight we are getting an exclusive look inside San Francisco's iconic Castro Theater, which has been closed since early last year for a major renovation project. and the grand reopening is happening soon. KTVU's Amber Lee has more tonight on the big-name singer who is scheduled to perform when the theater opens its doors once again.
Inside San Francisco's Castro Theater, the renovations are taking shape, offering a glimpse into the future of this legacy venue. The construction started in March 2024. The beautiful decorative ceiling has been cleaned of nicotine stains and dust collected over decades.
This is all new gold leaf, and the earthquake in '89 broke off a lot of the decorative tassels and a lot of the plaster fell down.
Now the ceiling and all of its decorations, along with an Art Deco chandelier, restored to their original glory when the theater first opened in 1922. Mary Condi, with Another Planet, which is overseeing this project and the theater, tells me the work that has been done includes air ventilation, plumbing, and wiring that's not readily visible. Improvements designed to enhance the audience experience.
We want to bring something to San Francisco that is really going to last for decades and decades to come.
There's still a lot of work to be done, including the installation of a brand new digital organ that will be installed on that stage that will be able to be elevated and retracted. Crews are building the tiered platforms that will hold the removable seats to give audience members the best sightline to the stage. The capacity will be 1,400 if it's for a standing room event such as a concert. Reserved seating will be 1,200. Grammy Award-winning artist Sam Smith recently filmed a new music video at the Castro Theater. Smith will be the first live performer to take to the stage at the venue when it reopens on February 10th. Condi says this is a perfect partnership for a project that honors the LGBTQ community.
This is a special place. It's more than just a music venue. It's more than a film venue. It's a cultural icon.
Condi says the $41 million project is funded by Another Planet and that the venue will be a gift to the community.
We really are doing this out of love and as a legacy project. I can't wait to be here on opening night and dance and sing and be here with the community. It's going to be amazing.
During its first year, the theater is scheduled to host more than 200 days of films and live performances, starting with its grand reopening on February 10th of next year. At the Castro Theater in San Francisco, Amber Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
It will be wonderful to see the Castro back open once again. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. And a quick reminder before we go tonight, you can always stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering across the West Coast by heading to our website. It's westcoastwrap.com. And don't forget to stream our shows on your smart TV. All you have to do is download that free Fox Local app. A beautiful night in the Bay Area. Have a good one.